Right, hello everyone, welcome to Pendulum Group's PG Tips. With these videos, we're going to ask the most common questions that we get and that we see online around your mindset, whether that's physical, mental, well-being, and also your general health. Top 3 sort of tips for handling failure, because we know that's like a big thing, big roadblock. A lot of people have loads of momentum, doing really well, but failure's always around the corner, chaos is always around the corner when we least expect it. It's the stuff we can't control. But how do you handle failure?
Yeah, so failure, a big part of my life, probably over the last 10, 15 years, and something that first of all I've had to reframe. So failure in itself, hugely negative word. It's got a very final destination feel to it. Once we look at reframing it and seeing it as a part of life, and it's what brings about the most lessons that we learn as well. So reframing it is the very first thing that I would look to do. See failure as almost a positive. You know, we are going to be disappointed, but it's easier after the fact to reflect on our failures, and usually we'll see it provides us with the biggest springboard for improvement in our lives as well. So first of all would be to reframe it. Second of all would be to take accountability. Don't blame yourself for everything that's gone wrong, but certainly look at the failure or the disappointment in an objective way. Establish where in the journey have you played a part, and then take full accountability for that. Once you've done that, it leads into part 3, which is to put a plan in place to ensure that those failures don't repeat themselves over and over again. You know, a failure once is going to cause disappointment, potentially heartbreak, depending on the size of that failure. It's your responsibility then to make sure that you mitigate the risks of that happening again. So those would be my 3. It'd be to firstly reframe it, take accountability in terms of your own actions and your own responsibility for that failure, and then learn from it and put a plan in place to ensure that that failure doesn't happen again, or you at least limit the chances of it happening again.
Yeah, I think that's a common one, isn't it? I think that second point for me is the one that really resonated, where it's around look for that chain of events and look for your involvement with that, which sometimes is very difficult for people to do. We're looking for someone to blame, a circumstance to blame, and it makes it easier. But naturally then that feeds into that thing of you'll just be on a continuous cycle of that continuing to happen and wondering why do these things keep happening to me? Why is it only me where this happens? But actually look at yourself first, and is there some, maybe it could just be some small changes, putting actions in place, avoiding certain situations which stop these failures in quotations from happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
You said reframing failure. I think like something we talk about a lot is obviously the language that you use. So what sort of other language or like terminology was used instead of failure?
There's a really popular saying within sport that says that you either win or you learn. I believe it's Pep Guardiola. I've heard it for
John Callan as well, the McGregor coach as well.
Coach, well over 10 years been hearing that now, and the people who are most successful in sport, in life, are very likely to be the people who have failed most as well. So if we take that on board, what we should really be doing is seeking out failure. If we're not failing on a daily and weekly, monthly basis, we're probably not reaching far enough to try and achieve the things that are important to us. So yeah, look at Michael Jordan, missed more free throws in the NBA than anybody has ever missed. Still probably the greatest sports person to ever live, probably the biggest failure as well. So if it's good enough for them, we just need to try and take that and implant it into our own lives.